All right, the hour of 6:30 having arrived, I'll call the regular Columbus Plan Commission meeting for Thursday, January 9th to order. Mike, will you call the roll?
Here.
Albright.
Present.
Monday.
Present.
Meyer.
Present.
Finkler. Bright. And, who am I missing? Trexler, yeah. Trexler. Yeah, one more. So we have a quorum.
All right, this meeting was noticed and posted in accordance with state law. Mike, please confirm.
Yes, it was properly posted.
Great. All right, commissioners' agendas are in your packets. Take a moment and I'll either entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written or amended.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I will second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. That's our working agenda for tonight. Next item, minutes from last meeting in November are in your packets. Take a moment to review. I'll entertain a motion to accept or a proposal to amend.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. We've got approved minutes. All right, we have one item with several facets on our new business. First of all, the public hearing. There's a notice in your packets. It's a public hearing for the conditional use permit regarding Zion Lutheran School expansion. All right.
We have one person signed up for the public hearing, Jim Guidry, and he can come up to the podium and please note his address as well when he gets up.
Oh, I thought that was just a sign-in sheet. I wasn't here to
Oh, okay.
make public comment.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right.
No problem. All right. All right, well, I will call for any other public comments. It's the opportunity to comment. Applicant, you'll have an opportunity to present if you like, just prior to the board's deliberation. But second call for public comment.
I'll just note that I had 2 phone calls from people requesting information and just requesting information to know more about the project.
Okay, no comments entered to the record.
No comments entered into.
All right. And a third and final call for public comments. All right. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing portion, and we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is discuss and possible action regarding the Zion Lutheran conditional use permit. So, Zion, do you have any information you'd like to present? Mike, would you like to start with presentation of your comments?
Okay, I'll just I'll open up the packet here.
Sure.
I have it on the screen. This is in a nutshell. This is expansion of the, and I'm sure the applicant can explain the project better than I can, but it's an expansion of the school at the north end of the property, and it's phase 1 phase 1 of future development. The drawing we have up here kind of shows the 2 phases. The main one is 19,000 square feet. It does change the circulation on the property because you lose circulation through the site on to Fuller Street. The city engineer reviewed this as well. as I did. It meets parking requirements. The city engineer had comments that it was a very well-done site plan. He did include some comments for, to be, a number of items to be addressed in the review letter. And in your packet, there's some staff recommended or suggested conditions to kind of continue to move this thing forward. These conditional use permit requires a site plan, which you're seeing here. And as a commission, if you like what you see in the comments, you can approve with the conditions, your own conditions or those listed in the staff report, or a combination thereof. And the applicant is here for, to answer questions too.
Do you have a presentation? Not required, but do you think Mike presented it in enough summary?
Yeah, I guess on behalf of the design team.
Yeah, would you come to the microphone? Thanks.
And press the mouth.
If a red light comes on,
He's got it.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good evening. My name's Todd Dvorak. I'm an architect with Growth Design Group, and I've been have the privilege of working with the Zion Lutheran team. I do want to make one clarification in the Plan Commission notes, just to clarify. Phase 1 does include the gymnasium. So Phase 1 is 3 classrooms, a multi-purpose space, and the gymnasium and support areas like bathrooms, receiving mechanical rooms. It will be a part of a long-term phase that includes a second phase that's farther south, which will include additional preschool and lower grade classrooms. So the intent right now is for Zion School to split a little bit, having grades 3 through 8 in the new building and having pre-K through second grade in the existing building. We're hoping within the next 5-ish years that we will then be able to take the old school building down, which is 1950s vintage, I think 1958, and then add the addition to it. This building will be fully sprinklered. It will be connected to the 2014 church that was built on the site. Zion has approximately 80 students today. They're seeing some growth. This is a part of that need to grow the school and have more individual classrooms and additional functions and services for their students and families. So I guess that's all I have. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to take them.
You're looking for the old building 2030, potentially doing something?
I don't know if you have any more specific timeline.
It's based on our funds. We would have liked to have just had one phase and build it all at one time. We do not have the funding to do that, so we are building, we've broken it into 2 phases. So we do certainly hope to do it sooner rather than later, but it will depend on funding from our church body.
But the entirety of the build-out is depicted in one way or another on these plans. So, and you answered one of my questions about, I didn't know what the fate of the current school building was going to be, so that it was
Correct.
phased out as part
Right.
of Phase 2.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that was basically my question. I just wanted to understand. So the current building school is eventually going to go away. Phase 1 is the new school, and then to the left of this map where it says future addition, that's where you're thinking about adding on.
Correct, right.
Okay.
So we've already, as far as Phase 2 goes too, we've started to work with our civil engineer to start understanding stormwater management requirements. We understand that there's a new stormwater management regulations for the city. So we're already trying to think that through. Also, we understand parking requirements will change once we have, kind of a larger campus. So the intent would be new parking would be positioned over the existing school. Once that building is taken down, we'll get a better adjacency to the front doors for everybody's use. But that's correct. We're hoping to have, I believe, 8 or 9 classrooms plus support areas in the full phase, which is full, both phases, which is about, I think 33,000 square feet is what our current estimates are for both phases 1 and 2.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Just want to note that in the city engineer's review letter, sheet C2.3 comments, provide stormwater plan and agreement for new site improvements in accordance with Chapter 48. So, as he addressed, he's working on that analysis and that addition to the site plan.
Mike, do you know if, does the city have access control on Western, or is that the county's jurisdiction?
It's the county's jurisdiction, is my understanding.
Okay. And because there's no access point out onto Western now today, is there?
Yeah,
Okay.
let me.
I live on Warner, so I never go that way, so I couldn't visualize it, yeah. All right.
Let me go.
If you look on the packet.
Yeah.
sorry, if you actually go to some of the previous pages, you'll see some of the existing drawings. So that's, if you will, our future phase, phase 1. Go up to some of the earlier drawings. Keep going. Keep going. I think one more maybe. There we go.
Yep.
Here is your existing driveway on Western, and we would abandon that and bring the new driveway farther
west.
south. Or what, southwest,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
So here's the southern access here.
Mike, did you see any of these? Did you get your fill here? So the question was, where's the stormwater management going? I see there's one new detention pond along Western, and then is some of the intent to expand or modify the stormwater pond in the northwest part of the property?
So I'm going to just flat out, I am not the civil engineer,
No
but I've been
problem.
working, he's partnered with us. So here's my understanding. With regards to stormwater management to the northwest lot, there were previous agreements put together in 2014 when the church was built. We believe there is a sufficient capacity to accept the additional building and have the stormwater retention go to the northwest lot with regards to the building, the new building. With regards to the new surface lot and parking that's going to be added to the south, that we are addressing with a new stormwater management pond in the southwest corner of the site. So the intent is to have some trench drains, or not trench drains, but catch basins, and create an underground line that runs through the lot to the southwest corner, and a new stormwater retention area would be established for the new lot.
So if you would recommend approval and include the suggested conditions, including the items in the review letter to be addressed, that formal stormwater plan will be reviewed and approved at the staff level.
Any other questions? Steve, you good?
That's captured in Jason's letter, right?
Yeah, in the,
His recommendation?
yep. Page 2, near the top, sheet, it says underlined sheet C2.3, provide stormwater management plan and agreement for new site improvements in accordance with Chapter 48. consider designing site to accommodate the future expansion with new stormwater facility. So those,
Property just to the north.
North or west? Because there are parcels to the west that the church owns as well.
I think Olena Investments owns that property, I believe,
What was that?
to the north.
There's some part, it's mostly subdivision.
I just have a quick question. So in the first paragraph, it does say that if and when phase two, this conditional use permit does not cover the phase two construction, correct? So they're gonna have to come back and with updated information and plans?
Correct. Phased construction.
Yeah,
Those-
okay. So when we make our motion, do we need to add that or no?
Or the approval of phase one.
That's covered in the
Okay.
letter already.
Yeah, a motion can name phase one as depicted on the plan submitted with, et cetera, so. Okay, I think the last question I had, and this is for Mike, is there a, I know Jason's letter covered all the engineering aspects, is there a, I know there's zoning differences to the north, compared to this parcel, are there any particular additional setback requirements or, landscape requirements when you cross, or when you're adjacent to a different zoning?
not that I was aware of, but one of the things in Jason's letter talked about wanting to maintain kind of the net landscaping. So there's a comment in there about for the that says replace for the landscaping that's being removed for the project, to replace that with the similar amount of landscaping. I'll have to go back to the letter to get the exact language here.
And regardless, that would be part of your site plan review for a,
Yes, yeah.
for a site.
And then there's, in the first part, confirm all trees on site will be impacted or shown on the plan, and provide lighting, a lighting plan as well.
Thanks. Others? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to recommend the council either approve or deny the conditional use permit.
I'd make a motion to approve the conditional use permit with the conditions outlined on the staff letter.
I can second that.
I have a motion and a second. Mike, set me clear on something. This is a permit issued by Planning Commission. It's not a recommendation to council, right?
My understand, Dana, we've taken all these CUPs to council in the past.
Okay. So do you want to briefly amend your motion to
So I,
not approve it, but recommend it
to
for approval?
recommend
Thank you.
approval to council.
All right.
I'll second that.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Mike, please forward to council.
Okay. And that will go, let's see, we had our first council meeting this month already, so it'll be the 21st.
21st of January.
It'll be, it'll go to Cal on the 21st, and then council, then for a decision at the council, the first week meeting in February.
Okay, so it gets reviewed on the 21st with final approval?
At the committee of the whole,
Okay,
and then official council at the first week in February.
sounds good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, next agenda item, there is a zoning and subdivision code request for proposals that, Mike, you worked on writing, and you want to present it to us, have a discussion and possible action. So, you want to walk us through?
Sure. We've had discussions about the code and how outdated the code is over the past, and that's, and this, in the current 2025 budget, the city council allocated funds for half the project, so they're trying to fund this project across 2 fiscal years, 2025 and 2026. So you'll see some language in the RFP regarding bridging the fiscal years, kind of trying to make the project half in one year and half in the other. Regarding the costs, bringing this forward, we're including, this proposal includes ordinance rewrite with the subdivision code as well. That it's a complementary piece to the zoning, so it kind of makes sense to do those together. So those are chapters 114 and chapter 90. The background here, the RFP essentially goes, there's a lot of background to it, and having the revised code essentially work to implement the comprehensive plan and our other related plans like our park and recreation plan and those kinds of things. There's some, and also to streamline processes and clarified definitions and come up with essentially a more user-friendly code for both developers, residents, and staff. If you go down to section C, the process, general process is having the consultant provide a plan review and background analysis, have them do an analysis of the strengths and weaknesses of our code, and kind of bring that forward to the Plan Commission, and then kind of bringing forward guidance on best practices. The idea in this approach of this RFP is to have city staff provide public input at key areas and not have the consultant do that, but have the consultant help prepare materials we can use with that. It's really kind of more of a cost savings measure to have staff do that, and we think that can work. But also, and then have the consultant outline appropriate meetings with the Plan Commission to develop this, and then also draft new zoning maps in GIS format that we can use and implement. Because at the end of the day, we're rewriting the code, but that usually means there's new zoning districts that we're going to have to essentially rezone the entire city to new categories, more than likely. And so there's a process to that as well. And so that they would be providing the mapping for that. But staff would be providing the public input for those public hearings along the way. Process-wise, for reviewing, the concept was to have an internal review team made up of myself, Plan Commissioner, the City Administrator, the Mayor, and David Bennett, that would review and bring forth recommendations to the Plan Commission. And the schedule is hopefully to get this out to the City Council and get this approved January 21st, and then bring proposals in March and try to get that recommendation to the City Council in April, so we can get started hopefully in May on that process.
I just have a couple quick questions.
Sure.
As far as the rezoning, is the rezoning going to kind of follow what was set up in the 2050 plan? Or do we think they're starting over and it might be quite a bit different?
The zoning code and the zoning map should take guidance from the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
So, those future land use categories are broad-based categories, and probably in some cases, multiple zoning categories could be consistent with that future land use map. So it's really kind of a judgment call when we get to that point, how we want, what districts we'll have in the new zoning code and how we
Okay.
apply that. So they should be, we want them to be consistent.
Right. Well, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because
Yeah.
every time we ever have anything with the public, we always talk about those zoning maps and, we refer to them and stuff like that. And I would really hate for there to be like some major changes and then people be upset about it or to some.
Well,
to that
keep in
extent.
mind, we're not creating a new zoning map to follow the existing zoning map. We're trying to implement the comprehensive plan.
Right.
And those are broad-based, some more general categories. And I think it's when they say, it's hard to say if it's gonna be really different until we get to that point
Right,
in the
okay.
process.
Okay,
But-
so anyways, the goal is just to get us to the point where the comprehensive plan wanted us to go, is kind of,
Yes.
is the.
That's our
it's the-
guiding-
It's the direction that we're pointing. And then my next question is, so if you have this budgeted in 2020, 25, 26, does that mean that's how long this project is gonna go into 2026 also?
We're asking the consultant to split the process over the course of 2 calendar years. So it's going to start in 2025 and finish up in 2026. We're trying to, now, if the cost is less than we think it's going to be and we can finish it up from a financial standpoint in 2025, great. Do I think that can happen with the mapping and the rezone and all that kind of stuff, starting in May and finishing up by the end of the year? I'm not quite so sure that's the case, would be the case.
All right, thanks.
So this is an RFP request, right?
It's a request for proposals to rewrite the zoning and the subdivision code.
Okay. And it's a 2-year project.
Well, so
Two
so the
fiscal
idea-
years.
Yeah, the idea is we have money budgeted for 2025. That may or may not buy us the whole project.
Right.
We're
We're thinking
asking
it won't.
we're asking consultants to, when they propose on this, have their schedule and their tasks cover 2 years. So whatever we can't cover with the budgeted money in 25, the city can budget for in 26. 'Cause by that time, they'll have a price tag on it, and they'll know how much is left. Or conversely, if it costs less than the budgeted amount in 25, even if the work schedule goes into 26, you can carry that money over when it comes budget time, anything that's
Correct.
budgeted now and can be
Right.
used.
So when we get the proposals in, we'll see their timelines. And we'll know they're we're requesting a not to exceed cost. So we're gonna know what the maximum amount of the cost is gonna be. We all know what the end product is supposed to be, the guidelines on it. We'll know the upper end of the cost and the timeline on which it's gonna be completed.
Is there any urgent items in the proposal? Like the zoning is more important than the subdivision ordinance?
They're both important.
Okay, but there's
It's-
nothing,
it's-
there's not a timeline
like-
for anything, like a new subdivision coming in or,
We can't let new development drive this process. We need to move independent of any pending development.
it seems like, say this project does take a year and a half, which I think it will.
Right.
Having it run a year and a half seems like, and seems like expediently enough to accommodate development as it comes in the door. In other words, the expediency is getting it done in general so that we're in a position to catch anything that walks in. Is that?
The reason we're hiring a consultant is this is too big. We've had other past attempts internally with internal staff to do it, and with everything going on, we just don't have the capacity to do it. So
Yeah.
by hiring a consultant, we're able to get it done in a timeline that it actually gets done, and we'll have a new, better functioning zoning and subdivision code.
Yeah, and I like the hand-in-hand input as they're going, right? You know, the consultant's gonna be the hands, arms, and feet, but staff and this committee that you like to put together will be the head and the brains for a lot of it, right? To make it Columbus, right?
Right, the internal review team will select will make a recommendation on the selected consultant, and they will bring, do work, bring it to the plan commission. You guys will review, give feedback, and then move on at key points. And the consultants will kind of have that process built into their proposal. So one of the things that we'll have to deal with, not tonight, but do we want to deal with, depending on the scope and the size of the discussion on the zoning rewrite, do we want to do those at a regular plan commission meeting, or do we want to have a separate meeting? Some of that will kind of be determined on just how much is on forthcoming agendas, and it may require additional meetings here and there through that process. But some of that is, that stuff we'll have to deal with as we go along.
So is this part of a bigger project, or is this?
This is the
budgeted-
project.
This is
This
the
is
project?
The project.
Okay.
And it's one of the things we've heard from the city council, and this is the reason they budgeted it, is there's a lot of dissatisfaction with our code, the definitions, a lot of loose ends, that just haven't gotten fixed over the years, and, the city council said it's time to get it done, and so they budgeted the money, knowing full well that they're gonna have to budget money again in 2026.
Okay.
Well, from a professional standpoint, the current code is vague, which I can understand doing it to make it a little vague, so to give it a little leeway, but it also can be used to prolong the experience, because you have people arguing about what the code actually means, is what my experience was, is how items are interpreted. So I guess from my perspective, I think hopefully one of the goals is to clarify and to make the code, this is what it is. And if Steve has a project over here going on, there's no way for him to interpret it a different way that maybe somebody in the past.
For instance,
would.
we've talked about parking. Our parking
Right.
requirements are not very reasonable at all, and why not, instead of having everyone come in here for parking reduction, why not get appropriate standards to begin with?
Right.
Yeah. I've long felt that the elements in our code are not onerous. The administration of them is what's onerous. So if we, from a content standpoint, maybe not a whole lot needs to change. I mean, the parking notwithstanding, I know what you're talking about there.
There's certainly
But-
some things.
Yeah, but, I mean, you talk about going to, well, maybe I shouldn't name names, but larger metropolitan areas in our general vicinity, Right.
Fall River?
There are rules themselves that people take to be onerous. I don't believe we have that. It's
And-
how to put it all together and get
Right.
it through the process that
Right.
is cumbersome, and that I do think needs to change.
And some of the things, for example, that are more substantive, like one of the changes I would like to see, having an industrial business that's located in an industrial zone have to get a conditional use for outdoor storage in an industrial district, to me, is a lot of extra meetings and time and not responsive to our businesses. We can design standard code, regulations and codes that are very reasonable and approve that administratively. That would be example of, you know, where I think we're asking too much. Now, outdoor storage in a highway commercial area, or a commercial area, or downtown, that's a different story. Maybe we want to permit it, maybe it's permitted by conditional use, but in an industrial district, to me, that's too much. So that's an example of,
My question was, we're calling out chapter 114 and 90.
yeah.
Those are the two sections that we're looking to rewrite. And, okay, but the rest of the code, everything is, or that could be future projects.
That could be future projects. All of our development code, is the zoning 114, and chapter 90 is the subdivision code. So those are the two main pieces where everything is addressed when it comes to development. So
It's a big bite.
So plats, industrial, residential development, downtown, signs, all of those things that are in chapter 114.
I think this is gonna take a while. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect this to go into 26. By the time you get somebody picked and that they start the work, I'm sure
early-
half the year will be over already.
The earliest we're gonna, start on this would be May.
And the reason they're both is because they're related. Is there a possibility that we would get halfway through this and the project dissolves?
I would hope not.
Okay.
Well, and I
I hope we
suspect that,
Go ahead.
I suspect that having professionals who do this, and that's what they're paid to do, will help keep the focus going, because that's what they do day in and day out, versus it's an extra duty that they're trying to do on top of other things.
Yeah, so this would have been technically probably a full-time job for one person and not do anything else, right? That's probably how many hours we're talking about. Yeah, so, and sometimes having consultants. Then they've done multiple cities and they have multiple ideas and,
One of the things out there to make this more usable is to include, some communities will include some color in their code, include graphics, line graphics, and photographs to communicate standards. A lot of times, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Well, when we have code that's just words, it's a lot harder, and you can have people debate what's what does a certain part of the code mean. If you have a picture, it clarifies that and the intent and what we're really trying to achieve. So that's one of the things that I would like to see in it that makes it easier for everyone, developers, property owners, is to build in a graphic element into the code.
Awesome.
So, maybe this is thinking too far ahead, but I'm having a hard time envisioning the end game. So, the consultant, fleshes out, takes what we have, takes a look at it, makes some recommendations, decides, what seems to work, what doesn't, figures out a new. I'm thinking this is more or less going to be a new efficient structure. writes it up, takes our zoning map, puts the zoning districts that have been written into the code onto a map, okay? And that gets delivered. Now we come to a point where there are public hearings because this is a rezone, and public hearings because it is a change in ordinance. And at that point in time, what is the consultant's role? Is that written into this? Is there an acknowledgement that, well, this is what we want out of the consultant, and after that, we have to deal with whatever might, bubble up to the surface then? I know there's community involvement along the way, and that will help mitigate, the surprise factor at the end. But how's that work? My brain's blowing up a little bit thinking of like a completely new zoning map and how that might
I
turn
think
into public hearings, but maybe I'm too far ahead.
This could get a little deep in the weeds, procedurally, but the way I think about it is that we have, there's, the old way of doing public input is you have a public hearing at the end of the process. And in these days, we tend to do more public input at the front end of processes and throughout the processes. So we will, as staff, be getting information about where we are. The rubber public probably will not get overly, or they probably, their attention probably won't really come until we get closer to the end product. So when we get find the new zoning districts and the specifics of what that is, I think that there'll be more interest there, because it'll be more real. And then we'll need to take that. I would like, probably in my mind, have that come before the Plan Commission, and provide comments, and not maybe do approval to the city council, but then have another kind of reflection at the city council level. But then when it comes to the zoning map, that's kind of a second process. It's complementary, but it's kind of taking and applying those new zoning districts, taking guidance from the comprehensive plan, applying that, and that's kind of a whole different, kind of a second process, complementary process. And in my mind, we have probably, this is maybe where our city attorney could probably provide some insight, because at some point they need to be adopted, I think, concurrently. In one, at some point, at a date, the new map kicks in with the new code. So they have to kind of be done in the same night. So you get the code developed, feel comfortable from the Plan Commission point of view, City Council point of view, then you start your process on your mapping, on how those districts get applied, and then you make your adaptions. So there's probably going to be multiple. To me, you want to get, I want to work out all the kinks before the public hearing. I want to get to a public hearing and then have people say, yeah, the things we talked about and wanted to get changed, got it changed, for the most part, and then it goes for the final vote at Plan Commission and City Council. Is that clear? We don't have it written down on paper procedurally, but to me, the adoption of the code and the maps need to be concurrently, probably in the same meetings at the end of the day.
I would assume throughout this project, to talk about changes, right? So if you got this currently, and then the proposed change, and then somehow we could kind of put that all together in some sort of a comparison, and then we could probably rate those as major change, little change.
My guess is, well, I mean, some of this it's going to depend on the consultant and to what extent the code's going to change. My recommendation is it's a repeal and replace. I don't know if we want to get into a red line version of the existing code because it gets really complicated, but I think we need to need to have documents that communicate to the public. Well, we used to have these, we've reduced parking requirements and added more flexibility, bullet points of old code,
That's what I'm.
high parking, but to redline the existing code, this is likely going to be a repeal and replace code. Because it would just get too messy.
Repeal and replace.
So chapter 114, as it currently states, is repealed and replaced with the new code.
So I think the easiest way to say that, there's no expectation that it's gonna be exactly the same, or, it could completely change, right?
It could be similar,
It could be similar, but it could also change a lot.
yes.
So there should be no expectation as to,
And that's why when the changes are brought forward, that's where you guys come in play, is to provide that guidance on, yeah, you did mostly what we wanted to see, we like most of this, but we don't really like that part, we're gonna figure something out, and then at future meetings, there'll be different iterations of sections of the code, and in the proposals, you will see kind of an outline of a process, and that will probably impact of who you would like to select.
right. From my perspective, if you are looking for somebody with input that's a planning commissioner, I'd be happy to participate in that, providing that it fits into my schedule and nobody else has volunteered.
And again, that's for the selection of
Yeah.
consultants.
I guess I understand the replace and repeal, but through the process, I guess the planning commission will see this is what was and this is what is proposed, and then we can put together the differences at some point.
Well, the consultant will kind of summarize that.
Okay.
And say, hey, this is kind of how you were doing it. We're going to organize it a little bit differently, address it different ways. Because some places setbacks are in one part of the code and other parts of the code currently, and there's not one place to go. So some of it is how the code is organized.
Yep. No.
So to do a
It's going to be hard to compare, but I guess to Uriah's comment, when we get to that point, when we're ready to share with you're going to say, here's a replace document to the public, and the public's going to be like, don't know what that means.
And we'll be able to have summaries that say, hey, what's changed in this code? Used to be all text. Now we have text and graphics and photographs to communicate it. So as a method. We used to have setbacks in multiple sections all over the place. Now they're all located in section 114-22.
Perfect. I want to be able to speak to it.
Yeah, yeah, and so there'll be bullet points to say generally summarizing the changes, but to do a red line, I think it would make everyone's head spin.
Thank you.
Mike, were you looking for?
We're looking for a recommendation to recommend approval of this RFP to City Council, and then we'll also probably, I would appreciate a formal selection by the Plan Commission for that selection committee member. Whoever that may be.
I had some comments on the RFP itself. Do you want those now, or in the interest of time, do you want to sort of accept them as maybe my own comments between now and the council meeting?
If you want to send me comments, I'm certainly open to it.
Any other discussion? Sorry. I'll entertain a motion and a second regarding forwarding the RFP to council, and then we'll make the nomination of a selection committee member a second item.
I'm sorry, did you get your answer? When you've got some comments that you want to?
I've got some comments, and I'll give them to Mike under separate cover.
I can make the motion. I can make a motion to send the request for proposal to council for a consultant to update the Columbus zoning and subdivision ordinance rewrite.
One second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Send her on. All right, I'll also, would you like to self-nominate for being on the,
Well, first of all, I want to ask, does anybody else, so I don't work in town, so my first question is, are these meetings going to be during the day or in the afternoon or evening or what?
We can work with you on that.
Okay. And then my next question is, if somebody else really is dying to do this, they can do it. If you really want to do it, don't feel like
Maybe we select an alternate too.
Oh,
That might be worth it.
I'm thinking not only an alternate, but, as you stated, sometimes you can't be there, right?
well, yeah.
My only thought is we're missing a few plan members, and would we want to talk about this when some of our missing members are here? I personally don't, I wish I could, but I don't want to commit to something with limited time with personal.
We do have more
business.
time on this because.
We do.
it's,
Okay.
you're anticipating opening the proposals on February 21, right? So we've got another meeting between now and then.
Yeah, so we have another
Okay,
meeting.
yeah, let's just wait then.
Boy.
We make sure that gets onto the agenda for February.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I just know it's hard to get people to,
Yeah, we just-
some of you guys have kids and all this other stuff.
From a process point, just thought, it's good to bring a commissioner in at that selection part before it gets to you guys and get that viewpoint, a plan commissioner viewpoint at that level, and then bring forward, we'll have a scoring sheet and go over the proposals and
Right.
it shouldn't, a lot of that homework can be done on your own, not at a meeting. And then when we can come together with our own scoring and have the discussion and come up with those finals.
Right.
So-
Are you planning on having somebody like an alder also be on this committee? Or no?
No,
Okay.
because the
The mayor is on
mayor
there.
will.
Okay, yeah.
The
All
mayor
right, so
will.
then mayor will represent the council
Yep.
and, okay.
And then that way, it's going to council eventually, so we have the mayor,
Okay.
plan commissioner, city administrator, myself, and David Bennett. So that should kind of bring, get us, we should have a pretty good selection process at that point.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm up. We've reached the end of our agenda. If there's no other discussion or anything, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you all.